This is the Aputure Light Storm COB 120d. Now this is their newest version of their very popular 120t, which was a tungsten light fixture at 3000K. Now this one here is 6000K, obviously daylight version, and it uses the same COB technology. Now COB stands for chips on board, and is a relatively newish sort of LED technology where it packs a whole bunch of LED diodes into a very small area that you can see down into here. This allows it to produce quite a strong light source from a very small LED light array, quite different from what you would find on, say, a 1x1 LED panel where there's multiple lights spaced over a large area. Now the only downsides of this is that the COB design does tend to produce quite a lot of heat. So on lights like that, you need to cool them down. So you can see below on here, just move this out of the way, this is a bit easier for you to see. You can see it's got this huge fan underneath. Now despite this fan being so big, it is barely audible. You wouldn't even be able to hear this when it's on, even when it's quite close to a microphone source, but that's what they're using to cool this fixture down. Now the 120D is solidly built out of aluminium housing, you know, very robust. It's still very lightweight, but still well made and feels solid. You know, it looks like it could work well out in the field and stand up to the rigors of daily use. There's no physical switches anywhere on the light, as you can see. The only thing on the light itself is the 4-pin XLR style power connector that goes back to a separate controller unit to operate all the functions of the light. The yoke frame, nicely made, well constructed. It uses this rosette type design, so you can put it in and then lock it down really nicely and tightly like that, and the light won't wobble around at all. That's a really nice feature, because you don't want these things moving around. I really wish more manufacturers would use good locking mechanisms on their lights. Now it comes with this intensifier sort of panel on the front here that sits on here like a sort of like a light modifying device, and I just take it off there. So this uses a Bowens mount, which is very good for adding all sorts of different light modifiers and other different accessories. Now, there's quite a few accessories that are available with this light. Aputure actually makes this nice Fresnel adapter that goes on the front that actually allows this light to then be used in like a Fresnel style operation, so you can spot it up or flood it. Very handy to have. They also make quite a low cost soft box that you can put on the front, and there's a whole bunch of different snoots and all sorts of light modifiers that you utilize the Bowens mount. So this makes this light extremely versatile. It can be used for a wide range of different applications. Now to operate the 120D, you need this controller box here, which is a little bit on the large size, but if you flip it over, you can see primarily the reasons behind that. It comes with either an integrated V-lock or Antoine Bauer gold mount, so you can run this light off traditional camera batteries. Now it does draw 135 watts of power, so you do need to be careful what type of battery you're going to run on here. If you run batteries that can't provide that sort of output, the light will not run at full power. If you do have a larger style V-lock or Antoine Bauer gold mount battery, you know, this is a good option because it allows you to run this remotely out in the field without the need for mains power. Now it's sort of made out of a hard plasticky sort of style material, but it's pretty robust, and this is exactly the same unit that you'll find on some of the other Light Storm variants of the Aputure products. Exact same type of box. You've got a little Wi-Fi area, which I'll talk about furthermore on there. Here you can see this is your 4-pin output connector cable that will then go to the light. Very solid, nicely made, nice thick cables, very robust. I've always been impressed by the quality of the Aputure products, considering their relative low cost. Also, you know, they think of nice little things like this. So this is just a little strap here. Oops, something came off just there. This This is just a little strap that you can then hang or put around a light stand to get this off the ground and not provide, send all the tension back up to the light and be pulling on the connector. Good for hanging off. Little small things like this are really nice. I'll get into the operation of how this works shortly. I'll just show you the other bits that also come. So along with that power supply, you also need this power ballast here, which goes in. So you'll see, despite the small sort of size of the light we've got here, you end up with, all three of these components having to make it work. Is this a good thing? Well, I would actually prefer to have the separate system like this, because it allows you to keep the light head nice and light. You can put this up high on a light stand, or you can use lower weight light stands. For traveling purposes, that's really good. You don't need to have a big heavy duty light stand to be able to use a light like this, because it's relatively low weight when you take away everything off there. So we've hooked the light up here just using the power connector going to the control unit. So to turn on, very simple, just press this one button and then up it comes. So on the control unit here, this is how you dim it. You can dim it all the way up. Only goes down to 10% though. You can go from 10% all the way up to 100. Back down to 10%. Now you see here they've got a little switch here for the fan. So you can actually have the fan on auto, so it'll only kick on when it actually needs to. Or you can force it on. So when I press the force button, the fan will automatically turn on. Here is where you've got your wireless Wi-Fi remote control app here, so you can choose which channel to set your controller on to receive the information from the remote control. So that's basically it in terms of the powering of this light. Now this is the remote control that comes with most of the Aputure lights. This allows you to control up to a distance of, I think, about 100 meters. Any of the lights here. Gives you 3 separate channels, so from this one remote control it's compatible with all the Aputure lights. So if you happen to have 2 or 3 Aputure fixtures, you could literally control all 3 of them via this one remote control. Allows you to dim the lights up and down and also turn them on and off. Really handy if you're a one-man operator. And it's a pain when you have to keep going backwards and forwards, adjusting a light, coming back and looking in the camera to see what it's done. This way you can stay behind the camera, and if you just need to dim or increase the intensity of a light, you can do that. And also if it's too much or you need to turn one off, you can turn it off to see what it looks like. Really nice. I like lights that come with included features like this. So I'll just go ahead and turn the light on here, and you can see it lights up quite a nice wide area. You can see it's quite harsh on the table there, but then on the wall it's quite nice and soft. I wouldn't use this light in this configuration that I have it in now for directly lighting something. It's too harsh, but it's a really nice light for bouncing off a wall, bouncing off a ceiling, putting it into some polyboard. It provides enough illumination that the diffused light that comes back out off a bounced wall or ceiling, etc., is really nice, and it looks quite natural. If you just want to add some extra light into a room without making it look too artificially lit. Even here you can see it's got quite a nice soft natural fall off. It's not a harsh fall off where you can see a direct sort of light source. That is quite nice. I'll just pan it across here so you can see more of that, sort of the gradual soft fall off of this light. Really nice. But again, as I said, a nice light to bounce off something. If you were going to use it straight on in this configuration, you would probably want to look at adding a softbox or something. You could use it for that purpose. It's a really multi-versatile light that allows you to do numerous types of lighting in different situations, depending on what your needs may be. So just to show you another example, I've got it pointed straight up towards the ceiling now, and I'm probably about 5 feet away from the ceiling. If I just turn it on, you can see it's just adding that little bit of extra illumination into this room here, where it could potentially be sort of dark, and you don't want to use direct lighting sources. You want to try and make it a little bit more natural. Punching it up into a roof such as what I'm doing here works really well. The Aputure Light Storm 120d is an impressive light. It's extremely versatile and can be used in a variety of different lighting situations. With the included Bowens mount, you can get affordable accessories and really use this light in a variety of different ways. Aputure also makes a Fresnel adapter that goes on the front, so that makes it even more versatile, and they also sell a soft box. So if you were looking for a jack of all trades light and you're on a budget, this could be a very good solution. I was impressed with the 120d. It's got good photometric scores, the output is nice, it's good for lighting up large areas indirectly. If you're going to use it in this particular configuration, bouncing it off a wall or a ceiling or a piece of poly gives you really nice results. If you already own a bunch of other lights, this is a nice light to have in your kit as an additional extra to take in somewhere where you need to create a bit of light to supplement natural light that may already be available, but there's just not enough illumination for your needs. So I really like the Aputure 120d. It's definitely worth checking out. As I said, well made, good photometric scores, and an affordable price.